Welcome, everybody, to Football Discussion Daily. My name is Joe. I'm here with the co-host. He is
CGO.
CGO, or George. Today is the 8th of December, 2025, and we are discussing Liverpool, Man City. Man City won. Liverpool went up 1-0 with a great free kick from Dominic Szoboszlai. City scored two goals. Second one was a penalty, and the game ended 2-1. There was a controversial moment at the end where City could have scored a third, but Dominic Szoboszlai fouled Haaland outside the box. Haaland actually recovered, fouled Szoboszlai. After all the dust settled, the referees ended up giving Szoboszlai a red card for denial of a goal-scoring opportunity, which was probably the right call. Dust settled, which actually was interesting because Brentford would have been in sixth place if that goal had gone in, but then they ended up being in seventh place on goal differential against Liverpool. But Szoboszlai obviously had a great game. George, what were your main takeaways from the match? There's a lot to take away here. There was a situation with Mo Salah where Guehi fouled him outside the box where he would have had a clear shot on net. Did the refs get all the calls right? Do you think that the win was deserved for Manchester City?
Well, honestly, it was a very, very tight match, to be honest. The match could have gone either way. Both teams really approached the game with very high seriousness. Like we said, I think yesterday, we said both teams need the win because Man City they are pursuing the title. They are in the title race. Liverpool wants to make the top four, so both teams needed the win. But like I said, Man City needed it more because if they had lost that game, it means Arsenal would have gone 9 points. There will be a 9 points gap between them and Arsenal. So their victory means the title race is still on, and it's not yet over. It's not yet over for anyone. So it was a very, very tough match. And the one thing is that I love the goal Dominic Szoboszlai scored because it reminded me of the goal he scored against Arsenal at Anfield, where he took a free kick from almost similar spot and the ball went straight into the net. So we saw something similar today. I was thinking maybe a lot of Liverpool fans will be hoping that the same score line they had against Arsenal at Anfield would happen today, considering that in times of history has always favored them whenever they play against Man City at Anfield. But unfortunately for them, everything turned around. We saw a goal by Bernardo Silva, which he took. That is his first Premier League goal of the season. It was a very important goal for them because that was what brought them back into the game. And then we saw the penalty that was awarded to City, where Alisson had contact with Matheus Nunes, and then
Yeah,
Haaland converted his chance. That is his 21st Premier League goal of the season,
very
which is
impressive.
quite amazing. So it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
a very beautiful match, very electrifying. It was drama all through till the end
So
of the game.
some real quick counterpoints, George. Number one, I felt it could have gone either way until the Szoboszlai goal. Both teams were really having their moments before that goal. After that goal, Liverpool switched off. They had several. I don't even want to count the third non-goal because Liverpool were pushing so hard. That was a result of Allison going up for a corner. Let's not even look at that. But the second two goals were on individual mistakes. The Bernardo Silva goal,
Yes,
they had
yes,
a right back who is really a midfielder, and he kept Bernardo Silva on side. If you have Connor Bradley, if you have Jeremy Frimpong at right back, who knows if you have Curtis Jones? I don't know. But that's a right back not knowing when to step up because he's actually a midfielder problem. It was a great finish from Silva, not taking anything away, but that was Dominic Zaboslai's fault.
yes, yes.
Because he's covering and he's out of position, not because he's a bad player. He's a brilliant player. But the pre-K was Allison individual mistake. Allison, I feel like knows not to go for that. It wasn't really in a dangerous area. He didn't need to. I think it was a clear PK. Um, but Liverpool were pretty mistake free before that. I think that, just like we said, sometimes teams go up a goal and especially late in the game and mentality gets to them. Liverpool under Klopp or Liverpool last year wouldn't make individual mistakes like that. I feel like it's a mentality issue. But Man City dominated after the Szoboszlai free kick. And George, another thing I'm going to disagree with you on, other than the distance is the same as the Arsenal goal. But the Arsenal goal was a curler. This goal had was was a knuckleball, was
Yeah.
going every which way in that, and then went off the post. Very different in terms of the technique. Very different in terms of how the goalkeeper perceives it. I would argue that Donnarumma probably better at dealing with curlers because he's so much bigger than Raya, and Raya might be better at dealing with knuckleballers because he's a little quicker than Donnarumma, being a little smaller. But either way, they're both brilliant free kicks. And both of them, I remember talking to the people right next to me, being like, "This is way too far out. There's no way he's going to try it." Um, but I do feel like Zabazai had a brilliant game defensively until that mistake against Silva. It's really hard to say he's the reason Liverpool lost. Um, George, really quick, who's your man of the match for either team, and who do you think? Yeah, who do you think was the underperformers for the game?
If you ask me, for Liverpool, the best player on the pitch was Dominic Szoboszlai. He
Yeah,
was. I love his energy, his technique when it comes to the way he deals with the ball. Apart from that mistake of keeping Bernardo Silva onside when that equalizer came, for me, he had a very good game. He was the best player for Liverpool on the Liverpool side.
I
If I
agree.
must be honest with you, the guy was very, very good. I really, and then if he asks me for Manchester City, I'll give it to Donnarumma. Donnarumma made a lot of beautiful saves, and then one of the saves he made that everyone talked about was the save he made when McAllister took a very powerful shot from outside. And mind you, when he took that shot, there was a little deflection. So
A
that would
big
have even made,
deflection.
yes, so that would have gone straight into the net. But this guy, his reflex is so exceptional. In fact, Tele Haaland had to talk about that save. He said, in short, the guy kept them, he preserved the win for them. If not, maybe Liverpool would have gotten the equalizer. So
You
for
know,
me, I'll give it to Donnarumma from the Manchester City side.
George, I have to disagree with you again because Zabazlai, I feel like both of those players made individual mistakes that led to a goal. The Donnarumma, you could actually see him saying, I only want a small wall. I don't want a big wall. It's too far out for a big wall on that free kick. And if he had had 4 or 5 in the wall, that goal probably doesn't go in. Zabazlai is probably not able to knuckle that. That's a mistake by Donnarumma. I don't, I, once the ball's in the air, there's nothing anybody could do to save that. But he made a mistake setting up that wall so small, and therefore I can't give him man of the match. I'd probably give it to Bernardo Silva. There's games where I watch Bernardo Silva where I think that guy's past it. He's run too much in his career. But today he was all over the place. He looked like Bernardo Silva 6 or 7 years ago. He was creating, making passes. He was intercepting. He was winning balls. Whenever Liverpool were trying to pass it back, he was always in the passing lanes. He was directing. I think it was Nico O'Reilly, as well, very well, young player, energetic player, technical player, but maybe not as cerebral as Silva. He'll get there. I'm sure he's a young player, but he's not there yet. I'd have to give it to Silva just for that domination. I feel like
So who are
he,
you giving it to from the Liverpool side?
it's good. I think a couple players had a good game. I think outside of one cross in the first half that I forget who it fell to, that was a decent chance. Solid played awful. Yeah, and same with Gakpo. I thought Zabazlai played well. Verts I thought played okay. Ekatike is every time the ball comes to him, he looks dangerous. Um, but yeah, it's really hard with that individual mistake to give it to Zabazlai. Um, I'll say this is a difficult one. I didn't think about this. Um, hmm,
Alisson was also very exceptional today in his performance. Apart from that error of causing a penalty, for me, he made a lot of saves in that game because Liverpool would have considered a goal or two before the equalizer came. It was Alisson that made a lot. Sure, there were some saves he made. I was even surprised he was
yes,
able to stop those balls. So the two goalkeepers did very well today. I must be honest with you. So
yes.
if it doesn't go to Zeboslai, I think the next person I'll be looking at is Beck Allison. He did very well today,
Again, it's
regardless of the
hard.
fact that I considered two goals.
It's hard for me to give it to a guy who made a mistake that led directly to a goal. So I'm McAllister. I also thought he's been weak all season. I thought he had probably one of his better games this season. He won the ball several times. He was dangerous in the air. He was making runs in the box. He was controlling it when he needed to. He was doing a good job recycling and being an outlet. I really thought he had one of his better games this season, and he looked like he wasn't he was on today. So I might give it to him. Zabazlai again, outside of one mistake, excellent. Same with Donnarumma, completely amazing outside of one mistake for both of those guys.
So what do you think about what impact will this have on Liverpool? Because now Szoboszlai will be missing 3 straight games. Do you think that will have a great impact? Because now Conor Bradley is not available, and then Szoboszlai, who normally plays that right back, won't be available for Liverpool. Don't you think this will have great impact on their chances of making top four?
It could. You're right. I feel like the right back has not been their contributor to their problems this year. It's been mostly their wide forwards, who have not played well. That's Salah, that's Gakpo, that's Chiesa, who have not played great all season. Almost their entire creativity has come down that center channel from Verts and Ekitike, and sometimes there's flashes from other midfielders like Jones or Zaboslai, but they've been very poor on the outside wings all season, where those guys who in the past have been able to take guys on haven't, and that even that right back, um, the fourth string right back isn't going to solve that problem of Liverpool not looking dangerous on the wings, teams not respecting the pace of Salah and Gakpo, and so no, I don't feel like it's going to make a major difference. I feel like Slot needs to figure that out, and I also feel like the sporting directors who made all these signings last season, who didn't get a wide forward with pace to help the Liverpool attack, is also to blame just as much, if not more, than Slot. But no, I don't feel like Zabazai will hurt, but um, it doesn't solve the fundamental core issue. It doesn't add on to the fundamental core issue. I feel like is why Liverpool is struggling this season. The losing of the actual forward they had last year with pace.
So do you still believe Liverpool will make top four with the way things are currently? Because now they are on the same point with Brentford. So,
Yeah.
and in fact, they have the same goal difference. The only thing is that they scored more goals. I think 1 goal higher than Brentford, but they have the same goal difference.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, George. I would love for Brentford to get fifth and sixth, and I joke about this a lot, but I think deep down Liverpool is a better team. I think the bigger question is Liverpool, Chelsea, or Man United. Two of those three teams are going to get, uh, Champions League, and one is going to be left out. And realistically, I think Aston Villa is going to be dragged down into that. It's going to be tiers 2, 4, and then the rest of the league. And one of those four teams, Aston Villa, Chelsea, United, Liverpool, are going to be left out. And I still think it's probably going to be Chelsea. I think Villa is probably the weakest team, but they're a little bit ahead. United will lose steam. Liverpool have too much quality and experience, and I feel like Chelsea just doesn't have the experience to deal with Liverpool. But this Liverpool team has been very unpredictable this year, and I really don't know. What do you think, George? Do you think that my assessment is correct in terms of Champions League qualification?
Well, for me, I feel Aston Villa, they are walking on a very tightrope now because if you have teams like Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool coming behind you, it's very, very risky because currently they are just 3 points ahead of Manchester United, 4 points ahead of Chelsea. And then when you look at that, it's something very dangerous for them because they didn't take advantage of the wide gap they had before now that they've been dropping points, I'm feeling if they are not careful, they may drop out of even the top four because Manchester United is only playing the Premier League. They only have the Premier League to worry about. Meanwhile, Aston Villa is still playing in the Europa League, and Europa League games are mostly played on Thursdays. So what it means is that most of their games will now Premier League games will be played on Sunday. So they have few days to rest and to play those games. So stuffs like that can affect them. And Aston Villa doesn't have that squad depth that an Arsenal team has, or maybe a Man City team has. Even Liverpool, so far as I'm concerned, even has more better squad depth than Aston Villa. So it's
Yeah,
going to really affect them, to be honest with you.
but being honest too, like first off, Aston Villa is 4 points up on Chelsea. Aston Villa, I feel like in the locker room they have to say we're competing with Man City, we're competing with Arsenal, let's go for a title. But outside looking in, we can say that they're closer to competing with United, Chelsea, Liverpool for that fifth spot than they are Arsenal and Man City. They've done fantastic this season, and credit to them. But just the quality of squad, I think it's going to be Chelsea that's knocked out personally. Also, it's possible that an Aston Villa might say that's falling behind might say, let's throw all our resources at Europa League. We have a better chance of qualifying through there. I think they got to be favorites in Europa League if they want Champions League next year. That certainly be something that they can do. But I think it'll be a very exciting end of the season. I think it could come. I think it's close enough that it's going to come down to a couple moments of luck, maybe an injury or two to a major player. Like if Van Dijk goes down, Liverpool center back is going to be awful, and if he goes down tomorrow, then I'm going to completely change my perspective of who I think is going to drop out. I think that they're more dependent on him right now than just about any team in that top four is on, or any of those group of four, Villa, United, Chelsea, Liverpool, are on any one player just because they're so thin on center back right now. But again, anything can happen in 4 months. It's going to be exciting. It's fun to watch as a neutral, and I'm also excited, for I think we'll have a title race. I thought it was more or less over, but I think 4 points with 12 games or 13 games is going to be exciting.
So that's one thing about Premier League. Premier League is unpredictable because imagine a Liverpool side that was topping the league after first 5 games of the season. Now they are now in sixth position. It tells you how the Premier League can be so unpredictable because you might be up today and before you know it, you can go down. So
Yeah,
it's one league that is unpredictable. It's not like the Spanish La Liga where you can easily make prediction or the German Bundesliga. It's a league that you can't predict because all the teams will give you a run for your money. That's the way the
yeah.
Premier League is. Very, very tough league.
It's true. So George, let me close out with our questions for everybody. Number one, who is your man of that match to the day? You heard mine is Bernardo Silva. George had Donnarumma. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Number two, out of those teams you mentioned, which of those six teams in the top six are going to miss out on Champions League? I say Chelsea. George says Aston Villa. I think it'll be really interesting to see. I think we both agree that there's so much unknowns that these predictions are very much not set in stone, written in blood at this point. But we'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Who had the worst performance today? I'll go ahead and say Gakpo. George, you never said who was your worst performer today.
I think I'll say Gakpo also. Gakpo.
Gakpo as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Please post, and appreciate you listening. See you, everybody.